Thanks for joining me on The World today. I am Amarachi Kobani. Well, Zambia is in mourning as President Michael Sata gives in to the cold hands of death after 77 years and just 4 years, or 3 years I should say, as a president. He had been treated for an undisclosed illness at a hospital in London. The government says the late president, who was being treated in the UK, died of an undisclosed illness just yesterday. He's not the first sitting head of state, though, to pass away in office, but he joins others in Africa.
Michael Sata was the 5th president of Zambia. Born on the 6th of July 1937, he ruled his nation for 4 years. A social democrat, President Sata led the Patriotic Front, a major political party in Zambia. Under President Frederick Chiluba, Sata was a minister during the 1990s as part of the movement for multi-party democracy government. He went into opposition in 2001, forming the PF party. As an opposition leader, Mr. Sata, popularly known as King Cobra due to his venomous tongue, emerged as the leading opposition presidential contender and rival to President Levi in the 2006 presidential election, but he was defeated. Following Wanawasa's death, Sata ran again and lost to President Rupia Banda in 2008. After 10 years in opposition, Sata defeated Banda, the incumbent, to win the September 2011 presidential election with a plurality of the vote. At first, it looked as if President Sata would keep his promises to tackle corruption and create jobs and prosperity, but his term in office was marred by a crackdown on political opposition and a decline in the economy.
It is in law that all investors who are coming to Zambia should bring a limited number of the experts for disciplines which they cannot find in Zambia. And we have been saddened, it's not your fault, it's the fault of the past government, that my part has taken concern about unlimited number of people who are investors have been into Zambia.
Concern over Mr. Sata's health had been mounting in Africa's second largest copper producer since June, when it disappeared from the public eye without explanation and was then reported to be getting medical treatment in Israel. He missed a scheduled speech at the United Nations General Assembly in September amid reports that he had fallen ill in his New York hotel.
The late Michael Sata joins other African greats such as President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua of Nigeria, who died on May 5th, 2010, and President Jonathan Mills, who died on July 24th, 2012, and President Bingu Mutharika, who died on April 6, 2012. Well, in his place now is Vice President Guy Scott, who's been named acting leader following the death. Elections are expected to be held in 90 days, and he is not likely to run. But earlier this month, the president's health, of course, had been of major concern to the rest of Africa. The First Minister, Edgar Lungu, says that the presidential elections to choose a permanent successor will be held within 90 days, but Mr. Scott becomes the first African white leader since F.W. de Klerk in apartheid South Africa. He's a Cambridge-educated economist born to Scottish parents, and analysts say that the 70-year-old will not be eligible to run for presidency because of citizenship restrictions. Well, we're also speculating the whereabouts of North Korea's leader, Kim Jong-un. Just like the rest of the world, reports say the reclusive leader has had surgery to remove a cyst from his ankle. A South Korean spy agency briefing lawmakers on Tuesday said that a foreign doctor operated on Mr. Kim in September or in October. Mr. Kim recently dropped out of public view for nearly 6 weeks, leading to speculation that he may be seriously ill. He's been seen walking with a stick in recent official photos. A South Korean intelligence further says that the cysts could recur because the North Korean leader is a smoker and leads a busy lifestyle. Unfortunate incidents happen in Sri Lanka as the government tries to gather as many survivors as possible. 10 people, though, have died following a massive landslide in the Badura district. The cause of the landslide is reported to have been heavy monsoon rains, which engulfed about 140 houses in that district. It also leveled a tea plantation near the town of Haudumula, about 200 kilometers east of the capital, Colombo. As sections of several national highways have also been reportedly washed away by the rains, and the government says it's deployed about 500 military personnel to begin rescue operation in the region.
A landslide buried more than 140 houses in south-central Sri Lanka on Wednesday after days of heavy rain. Media reports say children who left for school in the morning returned to find their houses in the village of Hadumula, 192 kilometers from the capital Colombo, have been buried. Rescue operations have recovered 10 bodies so far, but about 300 people are still missing. Officials say the landslide was at least 3 kilometers long. Earlier, villagers had been advised to move away from the area because of the threat of a landslide, but the disaster management minister said many did not heed the warning.
Let's turn our attention now to the Middle East, where the battle for the Syrian town of Kobani is still on. Right now, up to 200 Syrian rebels have arrived in the besieged town to help Kurdish fighters defending the northern border town against Islamic State's militants. All of them are fighting under the flag of the Western-backed Free Syrian Army. The news came as about 150 Iraqi Kurdish Peshmerga fighters arrived in Turkey on their way to the town. One contingent flew from Iraq to southeast Turkey, while others with heavy weapons are driving overland.
Locals gather on the roadside waving flags and celebrating as a military convoy drives by. Riot police fired tear gas to disperse the crowd. The locals are celebrating a convoy of Iraqi Peshmerga fighters and weapons traveling through eastern Turkey en route to the Syrian town of Kobani. They are going there to try to help fellow Kurds break an Islamic State siege which has defied US-led airstrikes. Weeks of airstrikes on Islamic State positions around Kobani and the deaths of hundreds of their fighters have failed to break the siege. Syrian Kurds and their international allies hope the arrival of the Peshmerga along with heavy weapons can turn the side. Meanwhile, smoke can be seen rising from Kobani from the Turkish border town of Bursa.